Is the C8 Corvette a terrible performance car? And is the C7 front mid-engine better than the C8 rear mid-engine? Let's find out.
Hello, how are you? Hope y'all are doing great. Please subscribe down below. Thank you very much. And this video is, of course, about the C8 Corvette and how it is a terrible performance car. It is really bad. It should have remained a front-engine car. Everybody knows the truth that the C8 Corvette is a poorly designed and conceived car that should just be thrown in the dumpster and said bye-bye to. Let me tell you why I've said that, and here we go.
Despite the C8 Corvette winning so many awards, people hate on the C8 Corvette. And I literally mean hate. Read articles and customers' reviews from the past, say about the C5, and moving to the C6, and you will find all kinds of debate and controversy. From the Corvette Z06 forum was this one such comment from August 1st, 2002. Quote unquote, GM, go slap your marketing blankheads upside the face with a sledgehammer, because that's basically what's being done to the beauty of the Vette. And where the blank is the performance improvements. Today's no different. Make a change to the Corvette and people go crazy. From a Ferrari chat, a contributor said, the outside of a C8 is a rehash of 10 to 20-year-old Ferrari McLaren design. Standard sports car design for uninspired, unoriginal designers circa 2019. The interior is hideous. Corvettes have sucked for a long time. Moving the engine doesn't appear to have changed that. On my Angry Buzzard Autos channel, I did a styling and looks comparison of the C8 Corvette with the Aventador LP700, McLaren GT, and Ferrari 458. As far as I'm concerned, the Corvette looks just as good as any other supercar until you start really talking about high-dollar supercars and hypercars. As far as I'm concerned, the C8 Corvette looks as nice, if not nicer, than the C7 Corvette. For those of you who hate the new C8 Corvette looks, in other words, you can please some of the people all the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. Which brings me to why I've made this video. Before hating on the haters, let's think a little more about this. When I first looked at what are the best sports cars of 2020, I was finding a mixture of front and rear mid-engine cars. I am cheating here by using Wikipedia, but it illustrates that I see more mid-rear engine cars being the best performing cars. I had a comment from one of my previous C8 videos saying that the rear mid-engine C8 is inferior to the front engine sports cars, for example, the C7. The quote actually started with, rear mid-engine cars are terrible performers. And then this person said, bottom line, mid-rear engine cars are not remotely competitive with front engine cars. It's shocking how dominant front engine configurations are, no exception. So here again saying that mid-engine rear engine cars suck so bad without any exception. For me to determine if the C8 is really a poor car, I compare it with the C7 base model. And so here you can kind of look where I'm showing the different specifications, and you'll see that the C8 and C7 are kind of fairly similar on paper, and this information almost supports that the C7 is a little bit better than the C8. Of course, this comparison doesn't take in many factors, one being the transmission. There are also several track attack videos and articles where you will see that the C8 Corvette does outperform the base C7 Corvette. Although you can easily find other cars that are front mid-engine that will outperform the C8 Corvette. For the general public, the general consumer, front mid-engine or rear mid-engine is going to be just a matter of taste. Now, most exotic and high-performance sports cars are rear mid-engine cars. These have the better handling and weight distribution that's so important for the track racing. Now, opposite of that are NASCAR racers. They have their engines in the front or front mid. And this is, here again, by tradition. For developing the C8R, they were able to get better aerodynamics, increased stiffness, decreased weight, and better handling. For those of us who are normal everyday drivers and we're going to get the regular C8 Corvette, those and other great things about the C8 Corvette are not necessarily applicable for us. Let's look at the pros of the C8 Corvette for us consumers. I'm going to skip over acceleration because we already know that that is much better in the C8. Braking should be a pro, but the C8 brakes at an additional 7 feet. It stops at 97 feet compared to the C7 that stops at about 90 feet. Another pro for mid-rear engine cars is less weight, but not with the C8 Corvette. And another pro for the mid-rear engine is weight distribution. The C8 is 40-60 and the C7 is 50-50. The difference is for the C8, this weight distribution is still what they call a little bit of a dumbbell because of the front radiator's weight. And for the C7, it is also slightly of a dumbbell type weight distribution. The weight distribution of the C8 should be a little bit better than the C7. It does reduce weight shifts from side to side, and it does give a little bit better bump absorption, resulting in a smoother ride as well. Secondly, on weight distribution, the center of gravity height for the C8 is 470 millimeters, which is 18.5 inches, whereas the C7 has a lower center of gravity height at 455 millimeters or 17.91 inches.
And then you climbed in the stock setting and went out to see what it was like.
A couple of things struck me immediately. Didn't take long. One, very quick steering response, just like a razor, really quick and accurate steering response, followed by trailing throttle oversteer. I found that entering really any corner where I was not braking and I was off throttle, the car oversteered. And this Corvette C8 to me is a giant leap forward for the nameplate. And what I did when I drove the car is a lot like what I do when I'm racing a car. I focus on what's wrong because I want to make the race car faster. And we're looking at kind of a minor tuning point.
Exactly, and it's just the starting point. I mean, this is the very first one, and they're going to get better and better and better, and it's going to be really fun to watch that progress.
I have never been a big fan of because of the rear suspension. Something in the rear of the C7 Corvettes has always had an unnerving monkey motion. What I'm calling monkey motion is actually yaw. It is
another pro for the C8 Corvette is supposed to be increased aerodynamics. The C7 wins on this. It has a drag coefficient of 0.313, whereas the C8 has a 0.322 with the Z51 package. I have seen a couple of articles saying that the C7's drag coefficient is actually 0.426, so not really sure about that. A final pro that should exist for the C8 Corvette is increased stiffness tends to occur with the mid-rear engine cars. From what I can tell, the C8's torsional stiffness is 7% greater than the C7, even with its roof panel in place, and 12% stiffer in the open configuration, according to the GM engineers. So the C8's structural stiffness has increased so much that it is better than its competitors, theoretical supercar competitors, like the Ferrari 458 and the McLaren CF. This video is getting a little long, so I need to wrap it up. So what is the configuration of most of the best performing sports cars? They are mid-rear engine cars, hands down. The C8's in company with Ford, Ferrari, Porsche, and many others, while there are still a few front engines like the BMW M8 GTE. But the C8 Corvette is a grand touring car. It's a sports car for the masses. GM has kept it relatively inexpensive and something that has multiple uses, while doing their best to make it new and fresh. Like it or not, that's what it is. Quit being a crybaby about it and a hater. Trying to paint it into a corner, then badmouth it on one side, or maybe even over-celebrate it on the other side, accomplishes nothing in the long run. Those that buy it, new or used, will be looking for fun, not a debate.
Truthfully, I think the C8 Corvette is fantastic. I really love this car. I think GM has gone the right direction with this. It's going to be a platform for so many new things coming up in the future, including all the electric. So all the naysayers and the people dying for their manuals and all that kind of stuff, you know what? Life is nothing but change. You either change and adapt yourself, or you just turn out to be a little crybaby. So let's just move on and enjoy ourselves to the best of our abilities. And with that, I'm done. That'll do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe down below. And if you have any thoughts, please give me your comments or thought droppings down below as well. And I hope y'all have a fantastic day. Stay safe, relax, take it easy, and I will see you later. Bye.